the list for because they are they are close. They got that proximity to the chair or the political leader of the institution. And so as such, that are also so exclusion, especially there are individuals who fought for the party. They're still struggling for the survivability of the former ruling unity party, and those who were excluded from the list of the campaign team. I told it about Yomli Kanga, who's the chair, and I said, for you to be the chair of a political party campaign team, you should be that popular. You should be impactful. I don't know how many individuals, whether youth group or women group, can stand up to say, well, Yumli has impacted our lives. I don't know. So that was a wrong choice. I made reference to Barney. I said, well, Barney is just basically he's known in this, in the MPP. Not many presidents know Barney, and this was one man who was around before praising the president, His Excellency. In fact, I understand he was supported largely by the coalition, and then later on he crossed carpet again. So I don't know. You got to look at people, whether they've been consistent or inconsistent in the past. Look at the records, the political records, before you put them on campaign team, because they are the face. They are those who the electors going to hear from before they can vote you in. So you got to look at those people. I made reference to Della Cooper as well. This one person who's in and out. She just comes in, she throws jabs at the government, she leaves. She's not connected. The people don't know who Magdala. Can she leave from there and go to be Nuclear Town where I come from, or any of the county, and say, "Oh, yeah, please vote for a woman who does know her?" At the point, how many individuals she's connected to, and she has impacted their lives. I made reference to, hey. I know I didn't talk about Ami Moda. He's my very good friend. He's been around. He's a businessman. He was then the chair of the party, trying to structure the party very well. But unfortunately, he was removed. Maybe on grounds that they have asked him to make his resources available for the party. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. In fact, it was under his administration that the party was evicted, from its headquarters. If I heard again that they are currently in court or facing some court case, and I will be shortly speaking with the newspaper that broke that story. I'll be shortly speaking with the editor of that paper. But more and more, I'll be telling them more about the Mo Ali. Mo Ali is on the list. In fact, I heard that there's a flyer around and they need to retrieve that list because there are individuals on that list who can convince the Liberian people. Not at all. They don't have the capacity to convince the Liberian people to vote in Omar Joseph Borka. And Mo Ali has been around. Yes, I know. He grew up in the former ruling unity party. But this issue with that, about morality, immorality, and all of that. So we need to look at people before we can point them or name them on our list for campaign team. We got to be very careful. Miata Famula, hey, Miata too. We don't have to take people who are far from the people. And that's the decision made by the political leader, the ambassador Joseph Imabaka. He took, and the video was named on the party who are far disconnected, highly disconnected from the electorate. Can Miata go to Grand Crew and tell the people vote for Joseph or Grand Kipma, where she came from? Is it possible? Hey, she's disconnected. But in the meantime, let me try to see what I can talk to that's the front page Africa. They carried a story just this morning about the Joseph Boyka who risked being arrested if at all. He didn't live up to some demands being made. So let's see what I can get him quickly. Mr. Dudu, Dudu is he's the senior writer. He's the I'm sure the editor in chief. He's the man who runs that paper. Basically that's the front page Africa. They carried that story this morning. I want to just talk to him briefly on basically this story that they carry this morning about the former ruling Unity Party being arrested. The political leader being arrested, or facing risk of being arrested. We want to know more about that story quickly, and then after which I hope to speak with M1. That's the Minister of Information. He's traveling with the President, His Excellency Dr. George Manuel. But Lenin Dudu is now on the line. Good morning, my friend and brother. How you doing?
Good morning, Sorbor George. I'm doing good. And thanks for having me on.
I know. Now, what is the story concerning, the former ruling Unity Party? I understand the ambassador Joseph Yuma Boka face a risk, being arrested, but all he doesn't live up to some, demands. Do you care to just give us at least, some idea as to how this story was developed?
Okay, so first of all, let me state that this is a matter that is in court, so I cannot say more than what we've reported. And this is a case that started, I think, since 2021, when the Unity Party defaulted on its rent to the McLean Enterprise. They have been owing rent for a long period of time that led to their eventual eviction from their former headquarters that used to be located at Congo Town.
Mm-hmm.
I think you should know that building we're talking about. And the McLeans took them to court, and they reached an agreement to pay the rent arrears in some installments, and the court gave them dates that it should be paid on based on percentages. They made a request to the court that they would love to pay in installments. I mean, the Unity Party. And the court accepted to allow them to pay in installments and give them stipulated dates on which, some payments should be made. And that agreement was reached sometime, I think, in 2022 after their eviction. But the Unity Party has continuously defaulted on that payment, and the McLeans kept taking them to court to let the court know that these people aren't paying our rent. So in the last ruling in that court, it was stated that by June 3rd, 2023, if the Unity Party fails to settle the rent, they should be arrested without notice and brought before the court for them to declare all their assets so that those assets could be auctioned by the court, and then the arrears be paid to the McLeans. Or they should be sent to the Monrovia Central Prison until the settlement is done.
You are saying June 3rd or July 3rd?
July 3rd. I mean,
okay, fine. Because I heard you saying June 3rd. Now, so that date now has come and gone. Do you know what's going to happen next?
Yes. So now that date has come and gone, if the Unity Party fails to meet up with the court's ruling, it is likely that the McLeans could, they have all legal right and bargains, as per the court's ruling, to have them arrested and taken to court, and they might be forwarded to the Monrovia Central Prison if the appropriate legal actions isn't taken, by their lawyers. But it's clearly stated in the last ruling that the court gave that their assets should be declared to the court so that those assets can be auctioned for repayment, or they go to jail. I mean, that is clearly stated in the court ruling by June 3rd if they fail to meet those requirements.
Now, so it means that the party has, a serious problem if at all they don't meet up with whatever the court has ruled.
Yeah, I mean, this is a court ruling which has to be obeyed. The court has to be respected. Unless maybe their lawyers have other form of remedy, through the court to have this settled. But the court has ruled that this is what should be done.
Now,
Pay the money by July 3rd, 2023, or we sell your assets, or you go to jail. Those are the conditions that the court have given.
Now, so do we know how much is involved actually, Lena?
We're talking about over $200,000 United States dollars.
Many thanks. We really appreciate your time this morning, Lena.
You're welcome, Sorbor.
Lena Duru of the Front Page Africa. You're listening to the SMS rated on the OBC 99.9. So any moment from now, it means that out of the Unity Party, through its political leader, Block, I may likely be picked up by the court if at all. They don't meet up to pay the arrears or the McLeans. That's troubling. I'm hoping that they can do something about that. Let's try to see whether we can connect with the Minister of Information quickly, and then I take my guests in. The Minister of Information, as quite aware, he's traveling with they're traveling with the president. They are currently in Israel, and so I will understand that the president is supposed to be meeting the Israeli Prime Minister today. Let's try to talk with the Minister of Information quickly. Mr. Minister, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Sorbor. Thank you very much.
Yes, so where are we now? Yesterday we spoke with you and you indicated that the president visited some historical, holy sites. So what is happening today?
As I speak to you, President Weah has just concluded a visit, meeting with the president of Israel, Isaac Herzog, at the State House of Israel here in Jerusalem. The meeting of both presidents went very well. The Liberian delegation was well received. The president was giving his guard of honor by the Israeli president. They had a very good cordial relations and meeting that covered a lot of issues, including international peace and security. They talk about cooperation between Liberia and Israel in the areas of agriculture, especially with a focus on rice production. They talk about the issue of defense and health, as well as establishing diplomatic relations by the opening of an embassy here in Israel. So yes, the meeting did go well. President Weah was well received, and the meeting has just concluded about 30 minutes ago.
Now, those sort of meetings when they are held, the Liberian people are looking out to see the fruits, of those sort of meetings. How soon do we, expect to see something coming out?
Definitely, the fruits of such a meeting will trickle down in the months ahead. The Israeli president was very concerned that Liberia ministers should follow up with his ministers so that all of the issues discussed at the presidential level can now come into fruition. I'm sure by the end of this visit, all of these meets and greets will be put together, so that a full bloom of the visit will come to fruition.
You made a reference to international cooperation. It's to talk about the investment opportunities as well. Maybe some investors coming from Israel.
They talk about trade links. One of the things the Israeli president stressed was once the two countries agreed for the opening of the embassy here in Israel, all of these issues in terms of international trade between both countries will come into focus. He said, in his words, Israel has a lot to offer to Liberia because Liberia is the first African country on the continent to recognize the Jewish state, cast that vital vote at the United Nations for the establishment of the Jewish state. So Israel takes Liberia's relations very seriously, and they're willing to be a good partner and good help to the people of Liberia.
Now, so what next now after he has held that meeting, that major meeting held by the president? What next?
The president has now retired and returned to his hotel here, the Waldorf Astoria in Jerusalem. He's awaiting another meeting this afternoon with the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. That meeting will take place in the next 2 hours, and the Liberian delegation will accompany the president. I also want to say that the focus also of today's meeting highlighted the fact that many Israelis, recognize the president and talk about his son Timothy Weah and his exploit in the soccer arena, following the footstep of his dad, and they praise the president Weah for setting that example for many African youth. And so, the president remains, that mega star in the world. And people from time to time will recognize his role, and the fact that his son is, following his father's footstep, is claiming international attention.
Mr. Minister, thank you very much. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you, sir. But before you go, I also like to say tomorrow, which is very important for Liberians to know, is that President will receive one of the prestigious and well-renowned award called the Friends of Zion Award. This award was, born by the ninth president, the ninth prime minister of Israel, Shimon Peres, in recognition of individuals and world leaders who have taken on the Jewish cause of ensuring that the Jewish people have the rightful place in the community of nations, and those people who have gone beyond and above, the cause of the Jewish people. And President Weah is being recognized tomorrow by the Friends of Zion Museum and Center, which will host the president tomorrow.
Many thanks, Mr. Minister.
Thank you, sir. All the best.
Okay. You're listening to the SMS rated on the OBC 99.9 and also frequencies across Liberia. Very shortly, we take our guests on the SMS. Earlier, we spoke with the Front Page Africa on the story regarding the former Vice President Joseph Human Boyka risking being arrested. If at all he didn't know, his party doesn't live up to paying the arrears of all the McLeans for the former headquarters where they were before, and they were evicted, and they still owe over $200,000. But if they don't pay that money, I understand. I hope to be corrected. They should to be arrested or picked up. Our guests shortly, we speak with our guests on the line. We're trying to see whether we can speak with Mr. Ludo Tape. Mr. Tape is the chairman of the former ruling unity party. After we speak with Mr. Tape, we are done for the day. And of course, we take our guests in quickly. Mr. Ibrahim Nyiswa. Mr. Nyiswa he's one of the senior member of the incident management system. That's the IMS, set up by the Ministry for Health, especially during the outbreak of COVID. So whether they are going to dismantle the IMS now, or it's still going to be in operation, we don't know all about that. Whether we are out of the woods for good for COVID, or we still need to watch out for observing all those protocols. We don't know. So you'll be telling us basically more about that. Let me take this musical break. I'll be right back. You're listening to the SMS rated on the OBC 99.9 and other frequencies across our dear and beloved country, Liberia. Our guest is already seated in the studio. We're still trying to make an effort to see what we can talk to Mr. Ludo Tape. Mr. Tape is the chair of the party. As soon as we get Mr. Tape, we put Mr. Tape on the line. We're hoping, because we need to hear from the Unity Party as well. As soon as that happens, we speak with them quickly. You're listening to the SMS rated on the OBC 99.9 and other frequencies across Liberia. Okay, so let's hear from you. Yes, we're trying to make a contact. I'm being distracted. But Ibrahim Nyiswa is in studio. He's a senior member of the IMS. That's the Incident Management System. Mr. Nyiswa, welcome to the program. Long time no see.
Thank you, Cobb.
How you doing?
Sorbor. I'm doing great.
You've been and you've been absent from the country.
Yeah, because we are doing professional work out there and supporting other countries to strengthen their capacity.
Okay.
Considering the same capacity that Liberia has. So other countries need that. And so we're trying to support them to improve their capacity, because, the world is interdependent and it requires that we strengthen one another.
Surely.
So that when we encountered any emerging disease, we can be able to fight together and be able to have a victory like we do for the COVID-19.
Okay. Now, the first question I would want to ask, Mr. Nyeswa, are we out of the wood now for good?
Out of the wood for what?
For COVID, coronavirus.
I would say no, not absolutely.
Not absolutely?
Yes, not absolutely.
So we're partly out of the wood, is that what you're saying? Not totally?
Yes, not totally, because
but we're not hearing about cases anymore.
Yes, that doesn't mean that you are absolutely out of the woods. That doesn't mean that COVID has been fully eliminated or eradicated from the country. We sometimes get cases once in a while. Sometimes cases from some counties, but currently, obviously, we are in a preparedness mood. That means all of our counties don't have any active case currently in the country. So currently, we don't have active case in Liberia. But notwithstanding, we are still being vigilant to make sure that we be on the alert to keep our population safe. So following the declaration of the WHO Director General, we declaring the end of the pandemic of public health international concern, because initially when COVID was actually spreading across the country, WHO declared public health emergencies of international concern, and usually, WHO usually declare that, and that tells the intensity and the severity of the incident or the condition that we're talking about. So that was declared, and it makes countries to be on the alert and be vigilant with the disease. And of course, you saw COVID spread across the world. Almost all of the countries in the world encounter COVID, which of course we also get the shot of ours. We have even up to 298 persons fall prey to that, and that tells the danger of the disease. So when we get our first index case, we activated the incident management system. And the incident management system have been very vigilant and robust over the past year. Since 2020 up to now, we were actively having our meetings.
But before we come to the incident management system, because I was asked as to whether we're still going to maintain that or going to dismantle it, the fact that what was the recommendation made by the Director General of the World Health Organization?
Okay, yes, I think there are a couple of recommendations that the DG made. Usually those recommendations, it comes from the committee, and then the DG is the one that declared them to the public. So part of the recommendations, one of the recommendations is that the games that made the capacity that were built during the COVID-19 response, that those games should be sustained, should be maintained. The country should be able to sustain those capacity and ensure that you improve on them. And one of these is another one is to that improve surveillance. The surveillance, that means countries should be very active in conducting surveillance activities, monitoring their points of interest, and conducting community surveillance across the countries. And then the next one is to be able to integrate vaccination. Integrate vaccination, COVID-19 vaccination into routine vaccination activities. So we shouldn't we shouldn't make COVID-19 vaccination parallel again, but rather integrate it into the routine system. Part of it is to improve our preparedness, our coordination, multi-sectoral coordination in in the various countries. So
Okay.
there are a couple of recommendations. I think
Now
about seven
let's let.
recommendations that the DG proposed, recommended to the various countries so that they can be able to carry that on.
Okay, now I want us to accentuate on the recommendation that has to do with the surveillance. What do we still got? Our people in rural parts, around the border, border points, keeping the surveillance and all of that, keeping the watch. Do we still have our the staffers, from the health angle, from public health and all of that? Are they, still posted at the border points?
Yes, we have trained staff, right? Um, we trained a lot of personnel across the countries. So we have a lot of port of entries. I mean, port health officers across the point of entries. Even though we may not have them everywhere because we have a lot of poorer borders.
Yeah, surely.
I know that we when we are not able to have human resource deployed to those areas, but to the very key points of entries, we have personnel deployed there that are conducting screening over the period every time. So we have surveillance officers in other the districts, in other the counties, and even in some of the health facilities we have surveillance officers to ensure that they are screening patients as they come in, and also to detect early, so that we are not caught pens down, right?
Now, I can remember, Miss Nyeshwa, there was this situation with the surveillance officers, and some of them, had to leave from, their assigned areas because of some, payment issues. Has that been settled now? Because, though we are patrolling out of the routes, we still need to, keep them at those border points.
Payment issue in terms of the response,
In
or
terms of
talking about routine?
Response, actually, not routine.
No, for response, I think we don't actually hold any responders. I know anyone participating or participated into the response. We did not hold anyone. We were able to pay everyone whatever due them, and because per our incident management system regulations, before you get into the response, we gave you a contract. If you are someone already in the system, we also add something to your regular payment just for motivation purpose. So with all of that, the incident management system were able to meet its requirement to pay every respondent. So we don't hold anybody incentive in the system. We're able to pay everyone.
Okay, so now that you are saying we are not totally all of the wood, we still need to watch out because there are, sometimes, minor cases. But so what do we need to do now as a people, because you don't see the protocols being observed anymore?
Okay, so this is where the incident management system is, right? Following the declaration of WHO of the end of the pandemic, as international public health of international concern. Now we need to understand what I'm saying. The DG declare that the pandemic is not of international concern anymore. That doesn't mean that there is no COVID in those countries, but it is not posting international threats. It's not causing traffic or international trade anyway, right? So people are still moving about, not the way that flight were not moving and people were not moving from one place to another because of COVID.
People are not being quarantined anymore.
Yes. So right now there are drastic decline of cases. So a lot of the countries do not have active cases, including Liberia. We don't have active case in Liberia currently. But that doesn't mean that we can get cases, right? Because COVID is still around. But what the incident management system is currently doing, we have reduced our our regular active meetings now, right? We have reduced them.
Yes, you are meeting regularly, every morning almost.
Yeah, we're meeting every day, but we have reduced now because of the decline of cases. So now we want to deactivate the incident management system. And the deactivation incident management system required a lot of processes. And part of it is to, first of all, for us to develop our deactivation plan and develop transition plan, conduct our AAR, which we call after action review, because it's important to conduct an after action review of every emergency or every response that you've gone through. The intent for that is to make you develop the report and your experiences, the lesson learned, the challenges from the response, and how can you improve on some of the challenges that you encountered during the outbreak. What was not in place that was shocking to the system that you think you need to improve? These are some of the things that we need to set as stakeholders of the country, because after action is not only the technical people. That this required even the policymakers. Just some days ago, we had a SPACO meeting. The technical incident management system had a meeting with SPACO. I want you to know that SPACO is part of the incident management system. But it's actually at a strategic level. So for us to deactivate, we needed to brief them on what we are about to do, what is our status, where we've gone, what are the things we need to do next to strengthen our system. So we provided that update. So now we are planning an after action review that we bring everyone together for us to discuss the issues. Even people at the community level will be participating in that process to tell us what did they experience, what worked well, what didn't work well. So all of those things we have to discuss it, and those areas that we think that require improvement, we'll improve those areas. So after that, we develop what we call the plan. We develop action plan from the after action review, and that plan is intended to address some of the issues that we discover during the response. So the process is on currently, and you talked about the travel protocol
we'll talk about that.
Or the regulations that
yes, before I come to travel, the travel protocols. You said currently you people are you held your after action review.
No,
meetings.
We have not.
Okay,
we're planning
that. But what is it that we expect to come out of the meetings you make a reference to?
So what we expect to get out of the meeting, first, we want to get the experience that we had during the process. 2, to also discuss the challenges that we discover. Why?
During the outbreak. During the response.
Yes, during the response. And at the end of that meeting, we will develop a what we call corrective action plan. That means those issues that you experience during the response, how can we address them? For example, when with COVID were coming, we have problem with isolation unit. Okay. How can we isolate some of those people that we're suspecting? And as God will hide it, we have 14 military, right? So we started with 14 military as our treatment unit, because we didn't have effectual hospital or one of those things to be able to treat people. To isolate and to treat the confirmed cases. So those issues are the one we're going to discuss. How can we get isolation unit, or why we didn't have isolation unit? So if it is necessary for us to have isolation unit across the country, then we have. Then if our lab had problem at the time, like during the response, we discover our lab could not do genomic sequencing.
Okay.
So we have to strengthen capacity while we were in the heat of the response for the lab to be able to conduct genomic sequencing. So the questions, these are the questions that we'll be answering. Why we didn't have some of those things, or why we don't have now. How can we put it into place? How can we address it? And what worked well, what worked well during the response, and what didn't work well. So how can we address them? So at the end of this meeting, we will have a clearer understanding as to where we perform very uniquely and where we didn't do well, and how can we improve. Then we will bring out the plan. And I told you that we also developing a transitional plan, right?
Okay.
The draft is there. And then so these activities that we'll be doing immediately after the action plan, we will go into the validation of our transitional plan, because some of the activities that we had during the response, we not want to transition them to routine. So we validate our routine, validate our transitional plan, and then right after that, we will try to appreciate all responders. We try to appreciate responders.
How are you going to appreciate them?
We will have a ceremony, and we will certificate.
We'll give them package, some financial package.
No, we don't have it. We don't have the
for financial rewards. We don't have that.
We don't have the luxury of financial resources to be able to do that. So
you're going to hold a mini ceremony and give them a certificate.
Exactly. We'll give them certificate, and not individually now.
Okay.
Because what the strategies we're trying to use is by institution. For example, like we have the county health teams, right? And the county health teams are headed by the county health officers. But during the response, we refer to them as incident managers for those counties. So they will be representing the county. And then for the for like our partners, we will their heads will be representing their institution. So we will not be specifically certificating individuals, but is to certificate an institution appreciating everyone that participated during the response. You know, this is very important. When people perform well, you need to appreciate them, and this we will make it a nationwide institution, celebration, because we have to bring everyone from, let's say, bring the county health officers and key stakeholders across the country to participate in this process. So
that meeting is scheduled for when?
Currently, we anticipate that it should be out of the end of this month. Yeah, but when we finally when we finalize the date, I think I will come here and discuss
and talk about that. Okay. Now, what's about the protocols, including traveling, Mr. Nyeswa? Do we still need to maybe there's someone has a body? Do they still need to a lifeless body? Do they still, and they want to dispose of that? Do they still, or they want to go and get the body? Do they still need to go through the formalities, right in the Ministry of Health, and do commercial vehicles still need to carry just a few individuals and not pack the vehicles as it used to be before the COVID, or have you relaxed some of those measures?
Of course, it's not going on now, but part of the recommendation that the DG put forward is that is part of the recommendation that all protocols should be lifted, or travel regulations should be lifted. So currently, we have lifted the rules and regulations for travelers. So if you're traveling, you don't need to do a test before you travel.
Okay.
The only thing you need is please make sure you have your COVID-19 vaccination card, because these are the things that most of the countries are requesting.
So you don't need to conduct any tests before you travel?
No, we don't need that. Except when you go into a country and the country says, before you enter here, please bring your COVID-19 test result. Then we can give it to you. So currently, we still have you and there, even though but it is not mandatory
Okay.
as it used to be.
Mm.
It's not mandatory before you travel that you should do a test. No,
Okay.
just go along with your COVID-19 vaccination card. And you should also inquire from the country that you are going, whether the country still needs people going with COVID-19 result. But most of the countries, I've traveled a lot of time, the few times, right? But a lot of the country, they don't even sometimes ask for the COVID-19 vaccination card.
Okay.
Because we're trying to reduce all of those things to make people free, move about. But I'm just trying to say and sounding the caveat that we don't do COVID-19 tests
Before we travel.
We are not making it mandatory.
Okay.
Yes, it's not mandatory as it used to be. So you can travel without doing COVID-19 tests, except the country you are going requesting you to carry COVID-19 tests.
Okay.
Then we can provide it to you. So that's the only reason why we are still running the Union Center, because we need to help our population that may be going to a country requesting for tests.
Okay.
That's the only way. But by our own standard as a nation, our incident management system, we are not providing or asking for COVID-19 tests before you travel.
During the heat of the COVID, Mr. Nyeswa, we brought in a huge quantity of vaccines. Did we exhaust them before relaxing some of the restrictions?
And I think we need to commend our people, right? Liberia is one of the countries that have done or performed well, and that done excellent well in vaccinating people. So besides Mauritius, right? Liberia is the second country, that vaccinated 80% of its population. So we've done well. So a lot of the vaccine you talked about, yes, we have administered it to our people. And you see, the vaccine had played a pivotal role in disrupting or interrupting the transmission of the disease, because since the vaccine have been introduced and people have been administering the vaccine, you have seen the drastic decline of cases.
Surely.
And even if we have a case,
so are the vaccines still being administered?
Huh?
Are the vaccines still being administered?
Yes, it's still being administered.
Okay.
That's what I said from the onset, that we're now integrating the vaccine into the routine system.
Okay.
So every facilities you go now, you should be able to have access to the vaccine, because we're trying to spread it across the country so that we are not making it parallel as we were doing before. But it was because we're in a response, and that's why we're making it the way we're going. But now we are trying to integrate every activities of COVID-19 into the routine system.
Now, I ask you the question. Shortly, I open the lines, Mr. Nyeswa. I ask whether we are out of the wood for good, or partly we are out of the wood. What is the answer?
And I mentioned that we are not out of the wood. Absolutely.
I'm not getting what you're saying. Does it mean that we still need to observe health regulations or measures?
No, we have dropped the regulations. We have dropped the
But why can't you also celebrate by saying, yes, we are out of the wood for good?
No, I cannot say that, because we still get some cases sometimes. But the good thing about it, some of the cases that we sometimes get are not cases that can really be hospitalized.
Okay.
And sometimes those people stay home and they get better. But that's why we talked about the goodness about of the vaccine. So the vaccine is good. So even if you get infected, it doesn't lead you to severity or hospitalization.
Okay.
So that's the good thing about it. So I'll say it again, we are not absolutely out of the hood, because COVID-19 is still around.
Okay.
Yeah.
0776 540 987, or still 0880 514 096. That's the number to call. And you are live on the SMS. We are currently in a conversation with a key member, a senior member of the incident management system, a system put in place by the Ministry of Health, the government through the Ministry of Health, to oversee the response during the COVID. 0776 540 987. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is Excellent Bobo calling you from Nova Sunday to be the where they stay this morning.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, let me say hi to the non-institute this morning, for expose. Last time we were hearing from the minister that we are free. So why he said this morning, how can we say that to the community? Where was that? Thank you so much this morning.
Okay, so you heard him. 0776, you answer that. 0776 540 987. Better still, 0880 514 096. Again, 0880 514 096. That's the number to call, and you are live on the SMS. Yes, let's hear from you. You said the last time they heard from the honorable minister that were out completely. I don't know how true is that.
No, if the minister say you are free from not wearing masks.
Okay, let me take this caller. Good morning.
You are free from wearing masks.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning. Let's hear from you quickly.
I'm the tableau calling from SKD Boulevard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, during the vaccination process, some of us went and did our vaccination, and they just gave us our ticket, and they said we should come back and they were going to give us our
certificate.
certificate.
Okay, so
we don't know.
Okay, up to now you haven't received that. Okay, you respond to that. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. The person's not ready. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah. Quickly.
This is Marcus D. Kono.
Let's hear from you, Michael. Let's hear from you.
This COVID-19 vaccination, we took our own vaccination from Pinville. And then the people took our knee down that they were going to bring value, receipt, and something for us. But they didn't get anything. They took our knee down. Since then, we're not hear from them. Since then, they're not giving any cut. So, show that we took this vaccination.
Okay, many thanks. You'll respond to that. 0776 540 987, or better still, 0880 514 096. That's the numbers to call. And then you are live on the SMS. The 0776 is just an alternative line. It's not a line that you call regularly. It's just an alternative line. So please, after this program, don't call this number anymore. Good morning.
So, how are you doing?
I'm okay, sir.
Steven Zone Zulu Whiskey.
Let's hear from you.
Firstly, let me thank God for our president seeking the Holy Land protection by going to Israel, more than going to seek Malabu. However, I got to know that your list is ended. But is Yaga Koruba on the list?
Which list is that?
Your list you call about the cabinet of the...
Oh, no, I didn't see his name, but I'll revisit the list, but I didn't see his name. I didn't see Yaka Koruba's name.
Okay. Like you rightly said, these are people that will not make that particular to progress. He was saying that those people means that you are for, even though you have not ended the list, but we as elected, we are putting them out through their stigma. Like most especially you call Nyombri. The Nyombri make the public to win. What will Labyrinth achieve? Is to just waste our water on our minister or what? Or you bring in Moda who they have already booted out. What will you say to the Labyrinth to convince them? And you bring in man Pamuda to do what? To sing music, people being encouraged. And music will eat. So these things they are not moving nowhere.
Okay. Many thanks. Let me take this caller. Good morning. Good morning. Hello.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning, sir. Good morning.
I'm James Kane calling for Lufa Canton before the Master Mola.
Let's hear from you, sir.
Yeah, I just want to tell you No, Minister, thank you for the analysis, the way you're talking in the very fighting the health in this country because we all in local country will take the coronavirus vaccine and will receive our card. But there's one issue I really facing serious problem with the health center in the rural area, particularly local country. The peanut butter the people are supplying for the facility for them to be given to the children. Can you imagine the peanut butter have been sold to very market table? There is nothing. The moment they supply those peanut butter before you go to the thing, display all that peanut butter in the market table. You cannot even see one in the facility or in any press center. So what do they want to know? There is no other mechanism that put in place to be manage those material that can supply to the facility so they can know that they're managing it well or they're using it well. Thank you.
Okay, many thanks, many thanks. 0776-540-987 or better still 0880-514-096. Let's take this caller quickly. Hello.
Good morning, Mr. Kaba.
Yes, good morning.
I'm Thompson calling for the head Sikubaro.
Okay, let's hear from you.
I want to ask the daddy in studio. He said that when someone gets coronavirus, at certain time they test you, and then you can spend like 1 week, 3 days, or 4 days to the hospital to drop you. So I want to ask me, what are coronavirus is just a normal sickness that we can live with as a normal
I didn't hear you saying that, but you was pointing away. Let me take this last caller. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning.
Okay, I'm Robert. Thank you for speaking to our SC community.
Okay.
If I want my vaccine certificate, where can I go and how much does it cost?
Okay, many thanks, many thanks. Where should I go and how much does it cost? Okay, let's go back to our studio guests to respond to some of those concerns and then wrap it up with him quickly.
Yeah, thanks to all the callers for sending in their call and for their interest for the discussion. Now, for those who talked about whether the minister said you are free, what the minister was referring to, that you are free not to wear masks. You don't need to wear masks anymore. All the regulations and measures that we have in place, we have lifted them. So when you're ready to travel, you don't need to take your vaccine. You don't need to take tests anymore before you travel. So that is what the minister is referring to. That doesn't mean that we will not have COVID at all, or we don't have COVID at all. We stay getting 1 or 2 cases once a while. So we want to inform the public on that. Let them be aware. That doesn't mean that we shouldn't be vigilant. And when anyone experiencing any respiratory condition, please go to the facility for checkup so that they can do your test there. But the second thing where someone talked about where they took the vaccine and they did not get any identity or any document regarding that. Okay, I think I agree with that because I know from the onset we had difficulties providing cards to a lot of the people, but you can go to the Ministry of Health. They will give you a code, but I think they should give you a code, and they gave code during those time. And when they give that code they gave you is for you to go on the internet and enter that code into the system, and then you will see your card right before you. So that is this process in place. But if you are not able to do so, or if you don't have it, or you might have misplaced it, what you do is just go to the Ministry of Health if you are in Morovia. But if you are out of Morovia, you can just go to the county health team. They will provide you the way forward for you to be able to get your vaccine card. But currently it's being done online. We try to avoid doing things manually nowadays as the world advances. With the last person come in, they talked about vaccine card, how much it costs, right? Okay,
I didn't get it. How much it costs? Yeah.
Okay, now I said, I just explained that if you get the ID number that was given to you, you just need to go on the website and be able to access your card, or you go to the Ministry of Health, go to the EPI unit. They will help you to to be able to access your card. That's the better way you can get your card right now. But it doesn't cost anything. We instead we are not selling the vaccination card. So please, they are all free from the onset of this response. We have been making those things free, and we are not selling them up to now. So please go there and get your vaccination card, because it's very important, for most especially for traveling. When you travel, some country can still ask for the vaccination card. But I want everyone to know that we are not doing tests. We are not demanding travelers to do COVID-19 tests. Please remember this. Except the country you're going is requesting that you should give a COVID-19 test result, then we can do your tests. You can go with it. And that's the reason why we are running the UN Center for Testing. But as we stand, we have lifted all travel protocol, travel regulations in country, and even and for travelers. So please, we are stay on the vigilance. We have our surveillance officers and public health technicians all over the countries that are making sure that our population is safe.
Many thanks. He's Mr. Ibrahim Nyiswa. Mr. Nyiswa is a key member of the incident management system, a body set up by the government through the Ministry of Health to oversee the response during the COVID outbreak. But on behalf of my indefatigable, my illustrious and hardworking producer, the man Melvin Stewart, Anthony Williams been behind the camera. Melvin will be here tomorrow. Lonely, he'll be here to do the show, and of course I will join him on Thursday. Until then, there's no second chance for first impression. Sorbor George is my name. Have a pleasant day.